Right, tally ho there, champs. Now let's talk about Apple. Oh, what's happening at Apple? This is like serious. This is no joke. I'm going to circle around and get back to how this will affect maybe Macs negatively, which I hope it doesn't. But this is serious. When, Tim is writing letters to investors saying, hey, that prediction we made for the first quarter, it's going to be 9 billion short. Yeah, that's serious. And it's all to do with the iPhone, predominantly, and in China. The problem is the iPhone is Apple's cash cow. Like daylight second, and then services and wearables, whatever, there in the distance. iPhone is their biggest money maker, for sure. Second is not even close. And let's be clear here, Apple's going to be fine. They're still going to sell a ton of iPhones. They're still going to be making huge profits. Actually, this next quarter is supposed to be one of their biggest quarters ever. So even with that $9 billion shortfall from predominantly the iPhone, they're still going to have a massive quarter. And I want to know in the comments, why do you think the iPhone sales are going down? Why? Why, for the first time in nearly 20 years, has Apple revised their earnings? I'd really be interested to know your theories. The writing was definitely on the wall when Tim Cook said, we're not going to report unit sales of the iPhone, the Macs, etc. The writing was on the wall then. They tried to spin it as, I think it's better for investors to actually know how much profit we're making rather than unit sales. They actually come out and said this 9 billion shortfall now because they know they probably could get sued if they don't. And that spin they come out with, saying it's more important to know how much revenue we're making, that's definitely gone out the window. And they've come out now and they've said it's the iPhone that is the problem. They didn't want to do this. That's why they didn't want to report the unit sales. I don't think that's right, because if the iPhone is their biggest seller and it's their number one revenue maker by far, as an investor, we want to know how many units of that we sold, because that's your company right there. The wearables may be up 20% and services might be up the same. But it doesn't matter. Your number one cash cow is that iPhone. I want to know how many of those you sold. And it's true that the iPhones do cost more to make. They're putting more premium parts in them, stainless steel, those OLED displays, and it costs more to make them. But the prices were high already, and then they increased the price again. I made a video a while ago saying it's over. It's over for Apple when you buy a product of theirs and you just don't feel good anymore. And I've seen people do this. I've seen people making videos about this, that they bought a MacBook Pro and usually they're excited, but it costs so friggin' much. And remember, I spec'd up an i9 XPS 15 and compared it to a Vega 20 i9 MacBook Pro, and it was $1,700 more. They've just reached that tipping point where for a lot of people, it costs so much, it just doesn't feel good to buy it anymore. Now, a lot of people don't care about the price, and that's cool. I mean, I'm lucky enough to be able to buy one. I love that MacBook Pro. I love my XPS 15 too. And I'm very lucky that I can afford these things. But I can tell you now, when I paid that money for that MacBook Pro, usually that big buzz you get when you buy something new. Yeah, when you see that bill come in, it's like, whoo. And I spent $2,000 on the friggin' iPhone as well. I do like those products. But even for me, someone that can afford them, it still hurts a little. And I'd really like to know what you think. Are the prices just ridiculously too high? Is that what's stopping you from buying a Mac or an iPhone? Or is it just they're just not making good products anymore? And yes, I agree that the Chinese phones are so friggin' good now and they're much cheaper. So that's got to play a part in it too. And one of the things is that Apple makes such a great product with the iPhone. It lasts so friggin' long, people don't need to update. If you're on an iPhone 6, I think you can get the latest iOS. What other Android phone 5 years old can you get the latest Android version on? And they've been doing the battery replacements too, so that makes them last even longer. So in some ways, making such a great product that lasts for so long, that's hurting them too. So I want to circle back around here to the Mac and how I think this possibly could affect a Mac. A $9 billion shortfall in projected revenue. That's a big chunk, right? It's still going to be one of their best quarters for revenue overall. But if that trend continues where the iPhone is not making as much as it used to, it might affect everything else and AppleCare, and they might start making cuts everywhere else. And I think AppleCare is one of the best. The service they provide, not only that, the services they provide at their Apple stores, so where your kid can load code in and stuff like that. You can learn how to produce music and learn how to shoot photos, and all these events, they cost a lot of money at their retail stores. They might start cutting those things back. And I could imagine support cost them a friggin' arm and a leg, especially how good their support is. I mean, half the time you got a problem with your Mac or something, they just replace the whole friggin' lot. The whole logic board, well, they have to now because the way they're built. But there's no like band-aid solution. They just replace the whole thing. And how many times I've had iPhones and I've got in there, had problems, and they just give you a new one. They just give you a new one. No arguments. Here, have a new one. Even I've had people that had their iPhones out of warranty go in there and they replace their iPhone. Brand new one. So hopefully it doesn't affect support, because I had the 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch with the Radeon 560 graphics, and then the Vega graphic come out. I had this laptop for 3 months. I went into the Apple store, said, hey, I wouldn't have bought this. I wouldn't have spent all this money on the i9 and the top of the line graphics if I knew there was going to be a Vega laptop later in the year. And they're like, no, we can't take it back. You've had it for 3 months. And then I go, can you get a manager, please? Talk to the manager. He thought it was pretty reasonable what I was saying. They took back my Mac. They even refunded the Apple Care. And then I went and bought the new Mac with the Vega 20. They didn't refund the money. They gave me store credit. But who does that? A 3-month-old laptop, you could just take it back and they just, oh, okay. No worries, that's reasonable what you said. Yeah, we'll take it back so you can get the new one. Hopefully they don't cut that. And Apple abandoned the Mac a while ago because they thought the iPad was going to take over, and then they realised, no, the iPad is not going to take over. Then they went back to the Mac, and now they're making good Macs again. So hopefully this continues. They put more effort into the Macs, and don't try and shove this iPad replacing your computer stuff. They're not good computers. Laptops are king. Give me a like if you think so. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Tally ho! Alright champs, let's get rid of Windows Home and let's get some Windows Pro. Copy and paste my code from the description. New codes, new discount. You can get Windows Professional, Office. Paste my code. Boom! It's Windows Pro time.